All right, so I made the decision on yesterday evening to watch a presentation hosted by Anderson Cooper on the current crime news network, CNN, regarding an interview that Anderson Cooper was able to snatch with Barack Hussein, the long-legged Mac Daddy Obama. And the title of the interview was called Fatherhood, Leadership, and Legacy. And it was an hour program of Obama, and he was going to talk about fatherhood. And the subject matter, with the three subject matters, one was leadership, and the other was his legacy. And so I said, all right, I'll watch this. I didn't really want to. I mean, I'm not, as you very well know, I'm no fan of either one of these persons. And I can tell you right now, you can turn me off if you like, I'm a critic. Right, I'm a critic. I don't have, I don't plan to lie, so there's very little good I can say about either one of these persons, but especially about Barack Hussein, the long-legged Mac Daddy Obama. So if you don't want to hear the truth, if you don't want to hear what I have to say, you have to consider the truth or not, then you can go and turn me off now. But I'm a critic. So I watched it. It came on last night, and he started out with a group called B.A.M. That's an acronym for Becoming a Man. And he had been working with some of the Hamite youth there in the Chicago area. And they'd put this group together, and they'd have some meetings initially. He brought them to the White House when he was president. And so now he starts Anderson Cooper starts the interview by having them sit in a semicircle. I don't know if we have that, Mr. Engineer, where they're sitting in this semicircle and Obama's talking to them. And I think there are about 7 or 8 young men that are in that particular circle, and Obama's talking to them. And a couple of them most of them that were there were not high schoolers. Just a couple of them were still in high school. Most of them were there, had graduated high school, they were age 26 years of age. So leave that there, Mr. Engineer. My question was, okay, B.A.M., Becoming a Man, and there's Obama, there's Anderson Cooper. I'll talk about their attire in just a moment. And the fellow you see sitting off to the left of Obama with the white on and the locks, and the overweight guy, he's 26 years old. He's got a daughter. I don't know if he's married or not, but he does have a daughter. And you can see that Obama started this event, this B.A.M. organization, I don't know, maybe 8-10 years ago. And this is at a high school there, one of the prominent high schools there in the Inglewood area of Chicago, in the hood. So my critique, and you're not going to like this, some of you, is that all he could get of the young men to come and sit with Obama? A group of young men he got started with 10 years ago, and to have a big television interview, that's the best he could get? And he couldn't get anybody immediately in school. He had to get somebody that had been in the program, now graduated. Now, I have to admit, for all, to be full disclosure, working with young men is very difficult. Thank you, Mr. Engineer. Let that sit for a little while. Look at all the hair that boy got on his head. He's 26 years old. He's one of the first persons that are part of the B.A.M. program. I have to tell you that working with young Hamite young men is very difficult. And what I want to express now, that even for the alleged president of the United States of America, when Obama wanted to have a reunion, these are only the young men he could find. The rest of them are probably dead, shot, or maybe not dead. And I don't mean to be ugly spirited, but they probably weren't interested in coming. And the program probably didn't mean very much anyway. And so they weren't interested. 1, 2, 3, maybe 5, 6 people all total is all he could get. I mean, you would think after 10 years of the B.A.M. program, that joint would have been full of young men with all kinds of testimonies. Elizabeth and I sat there and we watched this last night, all night long, the whole hour, and not one of these young men testified they've graduated college yet. Now, the one over there with all that hair on his head, he's 26. The one over here off to Anderson Cooper's right with the orange-colored pants on, he's 26, but neither one of them have graduated college yet. Neither one of them. Nobody, listen, you can't, I'm not making this up. Not one of the persons that was in that group said they were a college graduate. Now, the big one over here, he says 26, he's got a daughter, and I don't know what he says he does, but he's not a college grad. There's one that we don't see, is not in this shot, who said he went to college after high school, went to Morehouse. He was only there for one semester. He said he had to leave because he didn't have enough money. That's not true. That's a lie. That's a flat out lie that boy telling. You mean to tell me you're a part of a group established by Obama, Morehouse College took you in, and you ain't got no money to stay in school? Come on now. I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. You go to Morehouse College, you get accepted at Morehouse, and you're a part of a group established by the first alleged black president of the United States of America, people will be throwing money at you to pay your bills. I tell you why. And you don't flunk out. Yeah, there he is right there. This one right here. That's the fella right there. Now he looks a lot about older. Now he's got a ton of hair on his head. Why they got all that hair on their head? Locks. This is him at the White House. This is the young man here. He later on went to Morehouse College, but he only stayed there one semester, not even a year. But best I understand, they don't throw you out for money after the first semester. They may throw you out money the first year. They will do that. If you don't pay, they won't. But people will pay for you. If you're a member, you're a part of a president's club, you're part of the president's organization, the boys club, or the president, the alleged president, the black president of the United States of America. Ain't nobody gonna let you go because you ain't got no money. I'll tell you why they put him out. They put him out because of his grades. His first semester, he flunked out, and they kicked him out because they don't play that stuff down there in Morehouse. Either you cut the grade, you cut it, or you don't. So I listen to that. But I have to tell you that that's him. He's the one. He the one. All that hair. He only stayed, and now he said when he left Morehouse, he went to another college locally there in Chicago area, and they had to drop out of that one. So nobody, out of all 7 other men there, nobody was a college graduate. Now again, I have to tell you, working with young black men, unless they are self-motivated, and it's very, very difficult, and they don't understand either. They really don't understand the world. I'm not trying to beat up on anybody. I am not. That is not my intent. But the proof is in the pudding. He could not produce one man from his group that has graduated college. Now, we've had a lot of success here at our school. And, the girls I've worked with, they've gone through the roof, from law school to medical school to PhDs to graduate programs left and right. I could read off a list of the young people of our church that have just done extraordinary things, from law school to medical school to PhD programs to graduate program, master's degree program, and some of the best schools accepted at Yale and Juilliard and New York University and a zoo at Fordham and St. John's. I mean, if you compared my group to this group, it would be off the chart. Now, I have to tell you, I don't have a lot of young men either. Because it is a very difficult thing to communicate to the Hamite man. It is, and the Hamite young man, it's almost impossible. Unless they're self-motivated. By that I mean they really don't need to be a part of a group. They know what they want to do. They understand the world, and they're going to go and get an education on their own. But they're very difficult to work. I've tried my very best here, but we have had some success, and we have some young men here now. We just have the engineer that's showing you all of this, that's working his program right now. I'm calling him Mr. Engineer. He just graduated cum laude from a college here. He just graduated this past week. Actually graduated a year ago, but he marched this past week. And so now he's working in the program. He's not working for the ministry. We have another young man that's also presently going through the graduate program at a Delphi school. And we have had other young men. We've had one young man who was a part of our ministry that actually went to Morehouse. He left here just before going to Morehouse, but he came back and told us, thank God for our teaching, because we helped him get into Morehouse. But the young women, it is incredible. I mean, you would, if I told you all the young women and what the schools they've been accepted to and the law degrees that they have and how their accomplishment and also the scholarships they've been given, you wouldn't believe. You said, Pastor, man, you can't be telling the truth. At any rate, I understand. So he moved on from fatherhood to leadership, the Mac Daddy. And he began to talk about the question that I think that Anderson Cooper was trying to get at, that was the question that Charlemagne the God, I don't know, Charlemagne, well, y'all know him as the little G God, asked him, why didn't he do more for black people? And so at that point, he pivots and says, well, one of the things he said about the Skip Gates up in Boston, who's a teacher, Henry Louis Gates, was a teacher at Harvard, got arrested at his own house because he was trying to go into his own house. He had left the key. The police came and arrested him breaking into his own house. And Obama said that was stupid. That was the first year of his presidency. And he said his poll numbers dropped among white people like a lead stone. And he said if he did anything or said anything that was helpful to black people, white people would leave him. You know, I'm thinking to myself, well, then why the hell don't you tell white people to stop being racist then? I mean, if that was the case, I don't know that it was, but he and his, chief of staff and a bunch of other people around him, said that the reason why Obama didn't do anything for black people, didn't call their names, didn't talk about them, didn't try to put any program, because if he did that, all his white supporters would leave. I thought to myself, what a hypocrite. What a hypocrite. And then why did they jump up and down and talk about our first black president if they don't want them to do anything for black people? The truth of the matter is Obama didn't want to do anything for Hamite people. Now, they're Hamites. I've been saying black and I've been saying white, but you know that Japheth is a white man and Hamites is a black man. You know that. But the truth of the matter, he didn't want to do anything. And I don't think he had the feel for it. I don't think he had the, I sat there and watched his body language with them young men. Put that back up again, Mr. Engineer, just graduated. Congratulations. One of our young men I've led from a youth all the way through college, and now he works for the church. Put it back up again. Let me say something to you. You have to have a feel. You have to have a gift if you're going to work with young people. You really have to have a gift if you're going to work with people in general. You have to have a gift. It has to be something that's natural. I don't mean to put anybody down or anything. That's not what I wanted. That's what I intend to do. But you have to be able to find a way to relate. You have to relate to people. And if you don't communicate, and then that doesn't mean that you can't do anything. It's something else. I mean, Einstein, the last thing, Einstein's so be a brilliant person, he probably was, but I would never put him in charge of a Boy Scout group. He probably wouldn't know what to do. And they wouldn't know what to do with him because he doesn't relate in that area. You have to have that gift. And Obama doesn't have that relatable skills. Obama does not relate to people. And he doesn't relate. The reason why I didn't do anything for black people, because he doesn't relate to them. And he doesn't understand them. He doesn't understand what he needs to do. All right, a little bit for self-serving here. Leave that there, Mr. Engineer. I first came to this church. I first came to right here on the street. I asked everybody from the community, drug addicts, pimps, prostitutes, liars, thieves, half-dead people, come on in the church. I said, come on. And the members who wore mink coats and fancy perfume, said, Lord have mercy, they're scared to death. They were scared to death. I had all these people coming in, drug addicts, prostitutes, pimps. They're all coming in. I was just rolling around in, having a lot of fun talking to them. We talking and everything. They brought in guns. One guy had something like AK-47, and I bring them downstairs. We feed them. I'm just talking. Everybody just talking. Well, I know they're from the street, but the church people say, how you do that? Ooh, just scared that somebody gonna rob, somebody gonna start a fight or something like that. We never had a fight. Some of the worst people on the planet. I remember I threw one guy out of the building. Actually, our Elizabeth, where we live now, was a homeless shelter. That's what it used to be, a homeless shelter. And I was up there, and we were sleeping out here where I'm at now. I could smell crack in the building. I said, I smell like crack. This is a church building, right? I said, somebody's smoking crack. I got up and I went upstairs. Who in there smoking crack? They all act like they know nothing there. So some guy pointed to the other guy over there. He's smart. I jacked him up, threw him out the building. It was raining. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. It was raining to meet the band. Get out of here, I said. And everybody else, but they smoked crack. They'd do that. They'd hide, they'd steal, they'd lie, and they steal stuff. But no fights. You have to be able to relate. Obama does not have that skill. Not only does he not have the skill to deal with these young men, the reason why he didn't do anything for black people, because he don't know how to relate to them. The reason why he doesn't know how to relate to them is because Obama was raised on the surfboard in Honolulu, and before that he was over there in Pakistan somewhere. Where was he at? One of those Indonesia. He spent the first 9 years of his life in Indonesia, and then from there on a surfboard in Hawaii. What does he know about the hood? So that was Obama. I mean, the president of the United States, that room should have been filled with black men with degrees, with their BMWs parked outside and their degrees and working on Wall Street. After 10 years of a program for young black men becoming a man, after 10 years, that's the best that damn Obama can do. My God. That's a scream. I'd be ashamed to show that on television. I wouldn't go public with such a scrawny, non-accomplished group as that. My God. But that's what he presented. So, I mean, he doesn't relate and he doesn't understand. And not only that, the people he does relate to, now I bet you if he had asked for a bunch of homosexuals, lesbians and gays, well, the place would have been, it'd have been all down all the way in the Lake Michigan. There'd have been so many people there. If you asked all the people that have been inspired by his homosexual acts, by his same-sex marriage, I'll guarantee you the joint would have been full of Chicago. They've been coming in from Russia and as homosexuals to be with Obama for all what he's done for their lives. That's a group he should have brought up, but he's ashamed of that. And everybody knows that would be a scream anyway. I thought it was very disappointing. I say one more thing, it's very critical. I'm critical, so don't expect me to say anything good about Obama. Don't expect me to say, I ain't gonna say it. Ain't nothing good to be said. You want somebody good, go somewhere else. So I was watching him. He likes to use his hands to talk a lot, except at one point he got very defensive. He was sitting there like this. Anderson Cooper was asking him a question. He was sitting there like, so why is he so defensive? Why is he hugging himself? Why is he so insecure? And the other thing, listen, bring him up again. So what is he wearing this blue shirt, right? Come on, put on a suit and tie, right? What's this blue shirt all about? See, now he's trying to lean in and I don't know what kind of shoes he got on. So Pastor Man, you're bothering the man's wardrobe. He's trying to lean in like, I hear you, I got it going on. And I got a blue shirt. Well, look, I ain't got on no shirt. I don't have a shirt and tie on it. But generally, I'm pressed and iron. You know me. You know, man, Pastor Man, I'm always a shirt and tie. But today, I'm chilling. Yeah, all right. So anyway, but the thing I kept concerned about, I was told Elizabeth, I said, well, now, where's his wedding ring? Because he kept waving his hand. I don't know if our program director was able to get, he kept waving his left hand. And ain't no ring on that finger, right? Now, I don't know if we have some photos when he was campaigning in his early days in Chicago where you can see the ring on his finger, right here, his wedding band. He used to wear a wedding band. You see that wedding band on his finger? See that wedding band? Now, he's wearing a wedding band. He's married. Why did the boy take off his wedding band? Can somebody tell me that? Go back to that other shot. That's a wedding band finger. Now go back to the other shot. No wedding band. Why did that boy take off that wedding band? What is going on? Here's what I think, and I could be wrong. And I'll be wrong. Let's see. Pastor Man, you're wrong about that. That's okay. All right. I think he and Michelle have made a covenant. We ain't going to be married no more. All right. We were married to get through this presidency thing. The children are going to college, and we ain't going to be married no more. Now, we live in the same house, but I'm taking this wedding band off. Well, I would say to him, why you don't have to take the wedding band? Keep the wedding band on. Even though y'all decide not to be husband and wife no more, you still keep the wedding band on. I think Obama so ticked off with Michelle, he said, I ain't wearing the wedding band no more. I'll tell you, if I took off my wedding band, boy, Elizabeth would be beating me across the head. I wouldn't get no more food for another, until I put that wedding band back on. There ain't gonna be no cooking in hell. You put that wedding band back on. In fact, I'd be ashamed to say I took it off. In fact, I'd be ashamed for anybody to see me take off the wedding band. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? I mean, Jelly Bean, do you know what I mean? I would be ashamed to show my hand without a wedding band and everybody know I'm supposed to be married. What's up with that? I mean, Jelly Bean, the boy don't wear no wedding ring. That rhymes. I mean, Jelly Bean, the boy don't wear no wedding ring. Bob Jackson. I want a song out of that, Bob Jackson. I want a song and I want it now. I mean, Jelly Bean, the boy don't wear no wedding ring. I mean, Jelly Bean, the boy don't wear no wedding ring. This don't make no sense. I think that was a disgrace. And you know that boy Anderson Cooper, you know, he ain't married, but he gave his sperm to some woman. She gave birth to some little baby boy. Now he got a little boy. He a single parent, right? And they're talking about, you know, oh man, it was a scream last night. At any rate, he didn't talk very much about any other kind of accomplishments in terms of his legacy. He did say that his, the president's library is going to be built across the street from that high school. And that's going to be that. But nothing about his legacy, nothing about anything else. He did talk a little bit about the fact that where America is now is unthinkable. 5 years to a decade ago, you would never thought that where we are now with respect to, what's happening with Tribulation Trump and all that kind of stuff, and what's happening with Mitch McConnell and what's happening with the assault on the Temple of Democracy. He gave it a little bit, but they didn't talk about that very much. He didn't get into detail when they did talk. I wonder what was the purpose of having the event last night anyway. I thought I think he came away more disrespected, especially so I'm going to tell everybody that boy done took off his wedding ring. What the hell does that mean? I tell everybody. But there's some Obama worshipers, they're Obama worshipers that, they don't care, he don't have to have a wedding ring. Because he's the president. Oh, Lord have mercy. Especially these Hamite people. I personally, I don't find anything about Obama that I can relate to. I find no reason to admire him. The closest thing I would have to having respect for Obama, and this is the absolute truth, and I'm going to throw it with you. I'm going to leave y'all alone after that. I'm going to leave you alone. The closest thing I would have for having respect for Obama is that he spent 2 years in Afghanistan with the Taliban, with the Muslims over there in Kabul. Them some bad boys over there. Them goat herders over there in Afghanistan, them boys don't play. He spent 2 years with them. That I can respect. That I can, but he won't tell us about that. He won't tell us he did. They said it was at Columbia University. That's a lie. It wasn't at Columbia University, and I know it. I was there. He was in Kabul and Afghanistan training the Mujahideen and the Osama bin Laden boys. That's why they got the training from him. That I can respect. And I don't think he was there pretty much. But other than that, there's nothing about him. I mean, I would never vote for Trump. I did endorse him at one point in time. But there's some things about it. Even though he's a liar, a con man, a sicko, but Trump is a psychopath. But he's a stand-up guy. Trump would tell you to go to hell in a minute. He's a stand-up guy. And he does what he does. And I believe he's a man. At least some of them women said he is. I ain't heard no woman. He's about 40 women have accused him of all kinds of stuff. I ain't heard no man come out and say he did this, that, and the other. So I respect that. My judgment is this, and my judgment's always right. If you're a man And you need to think long and hard. But just don't reject me out of hand. Just don't say I'm wrong in this or that or the other. But if you're a man and you like Obama, he's somebody you could look up to as a man, there's something wrong with your ass. No, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you. You see that measly little crowd of little boys. Any other president, I tell you what. You ask Bill Clinton to call a bunch of his boys to come together. Ask Trump to call a bunch of his boys to come together. The place would be jammed. Opportunity to be on television with Obama, and the reason why nobody came, the reason why none of the boys from Chicago, the reason why they didn't come is because they don't relate to Obama. He ain't nobody to them. But they know he's a phony. The fellow over there with a white shirt on said he wears a bulletproof vest when he goes to work. He said he started wearing a bulletproof vest when he was in high school. He put on his bulletproof vest in the morning, go out. When he get to school, he'd take his bulletproof vest off, give it to the security people, principal, to get ready to leave. A lot of young boys in Chicago wear bulletproof vests. The big boy over there said he wears them right now. I guess it's super large, but anyway. But you would think if Obama gave a call for all his young boys to come and be on television with him, the place would have been so, had that been Michael Jordan, you couldn't get in the joint. And not one of these young boys testified they've graduated college yet. Two of them are 26 years old. They said they got a baby, but never said a thing about their wife. Nor their wife didn't say that. They never said they were married. They didn't say I'm married. They said I got a baby. They didn't say what the wife. They didn't say nothing about a wife and nothing about the woman who gave birth to the baby. Nothing about baby's mama, mama's baby, whoever, whatever how they say that. So that's the best Obama could do. I think this is the epitome of who Obama is. This is a truth being told. And look at Anderson Cooper. He's another one. I wouldn't sit down with him about anything. His mama was Gloria Vanderbilt. And she was a problem too. All right, everybody, I'm James David Manning. I'm the Lord's servant. This is a bit of a news blog we do looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon, Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning, and I'm here to serve you with news and information.